What's going on, everybody? I'm Marcus, and this is Real Unapologetic. Today, we're going to be discussing episode 2 of What If T'Challa Becomes Star-Lord. Today, I brought my brother Michael along. We're real rivals. That's our sports show that we do together as well. So we're going to be recapping what happened in episode 2. How well did it do? What are our thoughts? What are our opinions? What are our theories? That said, let's get it. What's going on, nieces and nephews? Episode 2 of the MCU's What If T'Challa Becomes Star-Lord. Actual reaction, recap, and discussion. So yes. as always, thank y'all for watching and spending a little time with us. My name's Marcus. This is my brother from another mother, Michael. And we are real rivals on the Real Unapologetic Channel. Yeah. So let's go into it. Michael? I don't want to pressure the jury and prejudice it. What did you think of episode 2?
Man, it was first getting to hear Chadwick Boseman's voice again in a Marvel performance. First of all, it was an emotional gut punch because we know we don't get to see him on screen again. But to get to hear his voice, it was phenomenal. It was amazing. And then to see his performance, not as T'Challa this time. Well, I'm sorry, he is T'Challa, but not as Black Panther this time. But to see him as Star-Lord,
yes,
it was great. And it's crazy to see how T'Challa, Star-Lord, charisma and his way of reaching people get to change so many people's trajectory that he affected, from all the way up to Thanos to Nebula.
Let me stop you there. You're going into some of my likes, dislikes about the show. Okay, so we're going to put a button in that for a moment, my brother.
Okay, got it.
Me being a rude host and rude to my brother, I apologize.
It's not rude. We trying to keep it at,
Yeah, we got to keep it flowing. We got to keep it. Yeah. I apologized on the Unapologetic Channel.
Hey, I started going all the way in, and you were not ready.
Yeah, you were going. Yeah, you were going in. You were going in. You were going in.
Yeah,
I mean, you were going in.
Yeah, I was like, you wasn't ready for the all the way in yet.
No, man. God, we don't do that here.
We don't do that here.
Yeah, that's my terrible impersonation of King T'Challa, King Chadwick Boseman.
Yes.
I'm going to go into probably the most unpopular part of this segment. Some of the things I hesitate to use the term criticism. I don't even think it's a critique. It's more what I would like to see more of. Okay. So if people that's watching this can view it through that lens, cool. If not, that's up to you. But one of the things I wished was I made notes, guys. I made notes. I wrote this down. And just so anyone and everyone that follows us from here on out understands, I watched the show twice. First time I watch it to see how I feel.
Okay.
How it hits me.
Okay.
Then I avoid all reaction videos. All review sites online, like people giving their opinions and thoughts and all that other stuff, right? I avoid all that because I don't want to prejudice the jury. I don't. My opinion is my opinion, and I want to give you facts of what I sincerely believe and feel.
Right.
So I avoided all that stuff. I still haven't watched reaction videos. I got some good friends that do great reaction video channels. I have not watched them yet because I was saving it in order for me and Michael to connect so that we could do this.
Yes.
So I purposely did not Secondly, I watched it again last night, and that's where I created these notes to
Mm.
make sure that I felt similar. Because sometimes the second pass, it don't hit you the same.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's where this is coming from. And I'm here to tell you and report to you that it in the second viewing enhanced it for me.
Mm.
It created some questions, but it also created some questions. You know, you
Yeah.
know. The first thing I would say that gave me a little heartburn, a little pause, was it just felt too short.
Mm.
I think that that's probably a growing theme with respect to the what if episodes, and call it what it is. It's probably a growing theme with all the Disney Plus shows.
Yeah.
I think Disney's doubling down on the less is more. You know, your 30, 45-minute, 25, 29-minute episodes.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't budget. So, you know, that's not the reason they're doing it.
Yeah.
They've got enough money to add an extra 10 minutes or 20 minutes an episode.
Yeah.
It is strictly because it flows. But in this particular episode, I think it worked. I wish it was more, just a little bit longer, just because I wanted to see more of the characters.
Yes.
That's it. It wasn't because the
Mm.
characters were mundane and boring, and I was like, let me get through this episode so I can see what happens next week. It was more like, I want more. I want more Thanos. I want more Nebula.
Yeah.
I want damn sure want more T'Challa.
Yes.
Can I get more Yondu?
Hmm.
Can I get more Ravagers? I want them all more. I'm greedy. So that's what I wanted. So it felt a little short to me.
Hmm.
So the other thing was no Dave Bautista.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that too.
Now look, the gentleman that played Dave played Drax.
Yeah.
Admittedly, it was a small role, guys, so I'm not making a mountain out of a molehill here.
Yeah.
It was just Dave has a distinct voice that I would love to have had the whole Marvel family come back together just for this, right? Because at the time I didn't know that there were going to be subsequent T'Challa episodes. My brother Michael let me know that a couple seconds ago
Yeah.
before we even started shooting.
Yeah.
So yes, but those are my two.
Yeah.
If you want to call them criticisms, if you want to call them critiques, if you want to call them whatever your verb is,
Yeah.
that's cool. But Mike, where do you come down on that? Am I shooting it fair? I don't. Let me know.
Well, where I sit on it is with the Marvel shows, I'm kind of expecting them to be somewhere into the 24 to, let's just say, 38-minute range. Is what most of them come out to be. A couple of them have been like 45 minutes or 50 minutes, but not a lot of them. But
No.
I'm somewhere in the 24 to 35-minute range is where I'm typically expecting the Marvel shows to be. As far as your criticisms, feeling that they're too short, they do kind of feel short at times. But it's not that big a deal because it's, like I said, that's kind of what my expectations are. Because that's just typically what they have been. And I don't recall your second one. What was your second?
No Dave Bautista.
Yeah, no Dave Bautista. From what I saw and read, they apparently reached out to Dave and were never able to get in touch with him in time in order for him to do the voiceover for it. Now I don't know how true that is. That's just the article I read that said that. But who
I don't believe
knows?
that.
Who knows?
I really don't know.
I don't know why he would say no, but this also could have been the point where they were going through with James Gunn when they started recording this. This could have been around that same period of time. because with James Gunn essentially was fired by Disney in that period between time, he had kind of set up a deal with DC. But Dave Bautista said he would not return for the Guardians unless James Gunn returned.
Mm.
So, with that being said, this could have been in that period of time where this was going on with James Gunn, and he was just like, "No, I'm not doing anything until James Gunn is rehired." So, like I said, I don't know if that timing lines up, but it's just my guess if that there's some truth to you know to the stuff that I just said. So,
I, I honestly, I don't know if I can refute it. I
yeah,
just, what I will say is it could also kind of just been a simple communication error.
yeah,
Eh, in today's world where there's multiple dozens of different ways that you can communicate to me and you can't find me at all,
yeah,
especially when I'm a known quantity of an actor.
yeah,
None of my social media sites, my agent, my manager,
yeah,
just can't find me. I'm under a
yeah,
rock.
yeah,
Possible, probable, whatever, whatever their issue is. I hope they get it sorted out. Simply because Dave brings his own flair to the character. He
yeah,
does. And this is no way doxing the brother that played Drax. Don't take it as us criticizing him.
yeah,
He got work. He's able to help provide and feed for his family and feed his
yeah,
family.
yeah,
So, availability. He was available.
yeah,
So kudos to him. It was admittedly a smart part of the show. So
yeah,
it's not like it changed the flow of the narrative of the show at all, really.
mhm,
So, like I said, my slights were small, if you want to consider them slights.
yeah,
That lets
definitely,
you know how well received I felt this episode was.
yeah,
Because normally I can be harsh, but it's
yeah,
just it's just this episode didn't warrant it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So, you know, now moving on, I did have several things that I really, really, really enjoyed about this movie or TV show.
yeah.
I keep wanting to
This
call it a
episode,
movie because I
yeah,
felt that it should have been a movie. Marvel,
yeah.
MCU,
It's
Kevin Feige.
it's a 12 episode. I'm sorry, it's like a 9 episode movie. It's all it is.
I understand that, but I'm spoiled and I'm my inner man child. I'm saying I want this and I want it now. Right? But anyway, uh, some of the things that I liked or loved. And I started at number 5, worked my way to 1.
Yes.
Okay. The fifth thing was the show felt organic.
Yes.
It flowed story wise.
Yeah.
There was not any moments where I went, when you're talking about a universe with mad titans, robots, and trees that can talk and raccoons,
yeah.
it didn't feel odd.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just Marvel having worked this way through my brain or that the show just flowed and worked. I tend to think it was the latter, that the show worked, because I think that if it was terribly done, I think we would have noticed that.
Yes. I felt that it flowed and it worked too. We basically got the Guardians without the cast that we've come to known as the
Mhm.
Guardians, and we felt no different, which is tells you a couple things. One, the directing is good. Two, that the casting
Yeah.
works, even with you changing the lineups and you even creating a new version essentially
Yes.
of Nebula, and it still worked. That is kudos up to Marvel for that. That gives Marvel kudos for figuring out how to change the roster of the Guardians that we've already come to know, uh, create a character and T'Challa and put him as Star-Lord, and it still works. That's good writing and good directing, and the actors doing a good job portraying their roles.
Yes, couldn't have said it better myself. Number 4, the action and the plot. It felt very Ocean's 11 to me.
Hmm.
Where if you, I don't know if any of
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
there watched Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, Ocean's
Yeah.
13, the
Yeah.
George Clooney, Brad Pitt heist movies where they were breaking into Las
Yeah.
Vegas casinos. How you just had the setup where you had the primary characters going over there playing on camera, so
Yeah.
that we're in on it, but
Yes.
then seeing it executed, and then there's a kind of a they throw a curveball at the
Yeah.
end, and you
Yeah.
didn't certain things you didn't see
Right.
that they had worked
Right.
out. Like Nebula approaching T'Challa with the idea about, hey, let's go steal this dust
Yes.
that can terraform planets and ultimately the universe and feed
Yeah.
billions and billions of worlds and people and so forth.
Right.
And you see the plan being hashed out, and you see part of it being executed, but
Yes.
you don't see the part where her and T'Challa worked out how the ending was going
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah. Yeah. We saw that at the end, but we didn't see
Right,
them.
right,
We
right.
saw them
So,
initially meet, but we didn't see them hatching out a plan. But they didn't want to show that, so that it came off more authentic when it's Nebula seemingly portrayed T'Challa.
right.
Yeah.
So for any of you folks out there that if you're a little bit younger than us, if you haven't seen those movies, do yourself a favor. The first one is an excellent one.
Yeah.
Should go see it. To see those guys taking on Andy Garcia, who plays an excellent casino boss, mobster,
Yeah.
killer,
Yeah.
evil villain. Great, 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 great. That's where I draw those themes from in this episode. I
Yes.
have no way to know that that's what they were planning, but it's what it felt like to me.
Yes.
So number 3, this one right here, this was pretty big right here. To see the biggest villain ever envisioned in the MCU changed.
Say it again.
To see the biggest villain in the MCU, known as
Oh my
Thanos,
gosh.
changed
Yeah.
by T'Challa.
Yeah.
By his grace, his wisdom, his diplomacy. He
Yeah.
took Thanos' dogma, what Thanos
uh,
had been working for hundreds of years, potentially depending on how old Thanos is in this
yeah.
universe.
Yeah. He
And
went
he
around
said, "I'm gonna hear you
slaughtering.
out. I'm gonna hear you out, Michael. You
Yeah.
wanna do genocide because you feel that your path is the correct one. That is
Right.
what you've raised an army. You've been slaughtering people across countless worlds.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hear you out, and I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong. And at the end of it, you're gonna agree with me."
Listen, that was obviously the biggest shocker of the episode, because no one saw that. I surely didn't see that coming. For Thanos to be so entrenched in his convictions, this episode he still was entrenched in those convictions. However, Star-Lord T'Challa was able to convince him to do it a different way, to get this to reach the same goal without murdering half of the people and plant life and everything else in uh you know snapping his fingers. He was able to prevent that
Correct.
and get him to go into a different direction and still reach the same goal. So yeah, I think that was
I mean, let's bring it micro to
okay.
the to Wakanda. He's currently the king of Wakanda if he were able to.
Yes.
Could you imagine him dealing with the UN, dealing with all these countries that think that little piss poor Wakanda with their farmers and dust and poverty? Who
Yeah.
are they to tell us, the rest of the civilized world,
Right.
how to deal with human rights, women's rights, civil rights, and all that?
Yes.
you know that they would have an opinion that is very small
Right.
of what Wakanda is, not
Yeah.
knowing the technological advances and the wisdom that kingdom has.
Yes.
So that is on display, juxtaposed to how Thanos, who was so rigid in his belief,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
to come out. Not only did he put his belief to the side.
Yeah.
Yes, he still felt some type of way about it. He still, because you can hear it through his commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I still think it was still for the better good.
Right.
However, that may be true. You still in the back of your mind think it's so.
Yeah.
What did your actions do? You set
Yeah.
it aside. You followed T'Challa, and you became an ally.
Yeah.
That shows his diplomacy, his skills, his leadership, his grace, how he uses both of these
Yep.
and less of this
Yes.
to get his point across. Because you ain't using all this to convince Thanos.
Oh no, absolutely not.
You can try.
No, no, no. Yeah,
You had to hear it from his perspective and where he was going with it.
yeah. I don't know if there's any other character in the MCU right now outside of T'Challa that can be able to talk Thanos down.
Talked him off the ledge and said, "Hey, come join me. Let's go fight crime together, my brother."
Listen. So what we on number 3?
We're on number 3 right now.
Okay.
Number two, I'm bringing it back to time.
Yeah.
It left me wanting more.
Oh,
That
absolutely.
That is what creative writing is all about. Great voice cast, great writing, great direction, great animation.
The visuals are off the chain.
The overall plot, everything synced to make me, my left side and right side of my brain went, I want more. For this half hour or whatever minutes long it is.
Yeah.
I don't care what's going on in the rest of the world.
Right.
I know that there's some brothers and sisters that's having trouble in the rest of the world. I know that inherently.
Right.
But for that 30 minutes or so, Disney Plus, MCU, Thanos, T'Challa, my king.
Yes.
That's what a story does. A well-crafted narrative story, all that does. And it made me want it more. I mentioned time twice.
Yes.
Because that is what a story does.
Absolutely.
And if the DC universe wants to understand how to create a narrative, you might want to listen to those brothers that did this episode. Just take out a pen and paper, do more of this, less this, and hear what they're saying.
Yes.
That's my little food for thought. Now, that was number 2. My number 1 thing, I think everybody in this universe knows where this is going. Chadwick Boseman. He was the heart. He was regal. He was the brightest star out of billions. Paraphrasing his father. He changed not only Thanos and saved the universe, but he changed the universe.
Yep.
He changed the Ravagers. He changed Yondu at like 12, 13 years old. The entire crew that Yondu was the leader of followed T'Challa. Yes, Yondu is the captain, but the heart is T'Challa.
Yes, he is a heart at all times.
And I'm gonna bring it back to it. I don't if you guys watch this when Yondu was specifically against the heist. I mean, he was adamant about not doing it.
Yes.
What did T'Challa do? And this is a juxtapose to what Star-Lord Peter Quill would have done. Just to give you guys a little mark of demarcation difference.
Yeah.
When Yondu was like, no, absolutely not going to do it. The collector is too dangerous, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah.
He'll put you on the wall and make you into a specimen.
Yeah.
And they panned to T'Challa, and he was silent.
Mm.
You can see he wanted to say something, but he didn't.
Yeah.
And then next scene, privately, he goes to Yondu. He picked his battles. He could have made a stand there in the group with Nebula and all the other Ravagers around.
Right.
What would that have done with Yondu? Probably reinforced his position.
Yes. Yes.
Now you can understand how he won over Thanos. Just that little glimpse.
Yeah.
Just
Because
that.
he went to Thanos like to try to see what Thanos wanted or what he wanted to accomplish and try to help him get it without going this route that is a lot of murder and killing involved,
Genocide.
a lot of genocide involved, killing half of the planets
Yes.
that he visits. So
Yes.
yeah, it's crazy.
But that was just a little micro example of how he understood and respected Yondu's position as the leader, de facto leader. He knows that he's the heart of that group. He probably could have persuaded several members to say, "Screw you, Yondu. We're going to follow T'Challa." He could have done that.
Yes.
But that would not have been respectful to Yondu, who is essentially a father figure.
Yes.
And it wasn't the proper thing to do if you've been taught to be a king since you were a year old.
Yes.
And have your mother's grace and your father's wisdom all poured into one to make you you.
Yes.
So that's how he could take and go see Yondu privately.
Yes.
Let Yondu vent, enunciate his point, and then what did Yondu do? Come around to his point. Because sometimes people just want to be heard.
Yeah, and that's what he did with Thanos. He did the same thing with Yondu that he did with Thanos. And he took those lessons and was able to apply it so that Thanos can realize, hey, there's another way to get to where you want.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, let's double the amount of supplies and crowds and food for the people.
Yes.
And by doing that, he showed Thanos that he doesn't have to go on this quest to find all these stones to kill half of the life in the universe.
Right.
And
it got to the point where Thanos can joke about it.
Right.
That's how much change Thanos is. Go back to Thanos in Infinity War. Thanos in Endgame. Did he crack a joke ever?
Nope.
And this man is joking about, well, my plan is still
business.
Right. But now this man is, because he had some conversations with King T'Challa.
Yes.
Chadwick Boseman. He has been converted.
Right.
He's joking like, yeah, my plan still would have worked. It still probably was the best plan. It's still pretty sure it's genocide. Well,
Genocide, sminicide.
Yeah. So that to me just showed well-written story, well-written character. Mr. Boseman, R.I.P., my brother.
Yes.
Because you are a king among men. Now, segueing into, I do have a couple questions. Maybe you can help me because I want to pose this to the folks down in the comments and online as a whole. If you happen to have some good theories, point them our way, maybe answer them. because I do have a couple,
Shoot.
actually more than a couple. But I'm gonna shoot it to you, Mike. Maybe you can help me. Maybe you can't. Uh, First things first. The obvious to me. Where was Gamora?
Uh, I actually have that question. Had that question too. Um, because he had Gomorrah and Nebula since they were kids. They basically grew up as sisters
In the other universe, though.
in the other universe. So I'm assuming because Thanos adopted Nebula that he would have adopted Gamora as well. At least that's my assumption, but I have no clue of where Gamora is in this current universe that we're in with What If. So no idea.
My theories are twofold. The first is perhaps she was younger in this universe or doesn't exist.
Mm,
Maybe her parents didn't get married and so forth, and so she wasn't potentially born. Or what if she sided with Thanos? She grew up wanting to beat Thanos. She grew up being Nebula,
yes.
right? Versus Nebula being the Gamora in this universe, right? How she like found her inner fortitude to break away from Thanos.
Yes.
What if Gamora went more bloodthirsty like Nebula was, trying to please Thanos
Mm,
and so forth, right? And then he has this change of heart,
yes.
and it shattered her mind and her worldview. So now
Mm,
she's out committing crimes and atrocities, running her own group of assassins.
yes.
I could see that being a plausible lane for her too,
Yes. That definitely is a plausible lane. Yes,
because
that's
they
definitely
may
plausible.
just spitballing, guys. But like I said, if you have any, I don't know if it makes sense to you, let us know. If not, Marcus, you're full of it. You never read a comic book, whatever. I'm just saying, it's called What If. It's not what is.
Yeah.
So that's my first question. Second
Okay.
question: Rocket, does it exist in this universe?
I think Rocket and Groot
And
both
Groot?
exist in this universe, but because Star Lord, um, Peter Quill, Star Lord, never got the orb, but T'Challa did. He never took it back to the buyer. They never got a chance to meet the rest of the Guardians, so they never escaped the prison and all of that.
So
Uh,
you're assuming that in this universe that would have played out the same way.
uh, I think so because I'm not Gamora. I'm about to call Gamora. Rocket is
Mhm.
always plotting. He always plotting. So I think he would have wanted to look for the orb. But because Peter Quill never got it, and but Star Lord did, he did something completely different. Um, to try to fix the world by basically taking from the rich and giving it to the poor and trying to double the resources instead of
Like Robin
having
Leach.
Robin Leach instead of Robin Hood.
Guys, research Robin Leach. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, yeah, I forgot. I knew I heard the name before, but I
It's the
had to
lifestyles of the rich and
yeah, I
famous.
had to look it up. Yeah, I remember that as a kid now, but I had to look it up. But at first, I couldn't remember. I was like, I knew the name sound familiar, but
Oh
I couldn't
God.
like quite
Oh
put a
God.
finger where
Oh
I knew
God.
that name from.
Hey, I feel like Captain America. I know that reference.
I understood.
I understood that reference. Right, I understood that reference.
Right.
All these millennials and young kids going, huh? I
Yeah.
understood that reference. That's what I
Yeah.
feel like. Um, Third question. We've kind of talked over Rocket and do the Ravagers.
Okay.
do they all prescribe to that dogma of T'Challa and Yondu? Because they're not monolithic. At least that's not what
Yeah.
we've been shown. So
Well, we
is
know
there a
there's
rift?
there's several groups of
Yeah.
Ravengers. So interesting. So you remember in Guardians 2, they go to Contraxia. That's when Sly Stone's character, I can't remember his
Mhm.
name in the movie.
I know
He
you're talking about.
confronts Yondu on Contraxia.
Mhm.
They actually in the What If episode, that's where they go back to Contraxia. They just on a different part of it.
Okay.
So the part they were in Guardians 2 was kind of like where all the lower people that are on the lower end of life that don't have a lot of money. That's kind of where they hang out. Now they went where they went on where they went
To nowhere.
and to no when they went on What If,
Okay.
they went to the part where people were a little bit more established, more money. That's kind of where they hang
Okay.
out. So it's like a higher end place than where, but it was the same world. It was both Contraxia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think that there's offshoots, there's groups that probably don't prescribe to it and they off doing their
Oh,
own thing?
absolutely.
Yeah. I
Absolutely.
feel that too because I mean there you don't introduce views of sharing and no longer stealing or to the degree where you're being Robin Hood and all the other hoods are okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Someone's gonna disagree. Uh, and a couple more, then we're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah.
How did the collector get Cap's shield? Did Cap die?
um he had a few things in there. He also had Mjolnir.
Oh, Mjolnir.
Uh
Like, how did he get
how do you get
Malekith's dagger?
yeah, how do you
Uh,
get
her
Hela's
head,
horns?
her headrest or whatever she was.
Her headdress.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I got so many unanswered questions. Um yeah, I mean his name is Collector. So my theory is that
Get him, guys, in the chats.
my
Here
theory
comes the
is
theory.
that the collector is actually going to parallel universes and collecting things. Um
Hmm.
so it's established that that What If is actually canon to the MCU. So all of this stuff that we're seeing
Mhm.
actually happened, but it's just in a parallel universe because that was established with Loki. Um,
Freaking variants. So he
so
killed a Thor variant and got the shield, or got Mjolnir,
I
or
don't
is that
know.
or is that Mjolnir left over from when Kid Loki killed Thor?
It. I think
I'm just
he
gonna
is
tie your head in
collect.
a noodle on that one.
I think he's collecting things from other universes, a parallel of universes to the main, I guess, 616 timeline. I think there's some um, stuff with the collector that he's going through universes. I don't think that he's staying in one timeline. At least this version of the collector. I
that's
don't think
a
he is.
that's a different theory than what I envisioned. You know what? I'll ride with it
Yeah.
until someone tells me different. Please
Yeah.
let us know in the chats and below. Subscribe, like, comment. Let us know if you guys have a different one. Maybe y'all have some links to someone else that has some big brain thoughts on this. That's cool. Um, my last thing I would like to ask is, what next? Where does T'Challa go from there? He's already fixed the universe.
I personally think he goes back to Wakanda.
That
Um,
takes over as king.
yeah, because I think at the end of the episode they established that he found out that Wakanda was there the whole time
Mm-hmm.
because he was told that it was basically wiped
Yeah,
out.
Yondu lied to him.
Right. So at the end of the episode, they go back to Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to rise in power, and King T'Chaka, instead of dying this time, I think he's going to retire and give his son the
Oh yeah,
mantle
there's
of
no
king.
doubt. There ain't no doubt. You don't show the ability to change Thanos and not think you warrant the kingdom.
Right.
Like it's his, right? Outside of Shuri, maybe it was saying, well, he wasn't here the whole time, which I don't see her doing.
Right.
So challenging him in that way. So
No,
yeah,
no.
I think it's his throne if he wants it. Which last thing, guys, and then we're gonna button this up. Black Panther 2, we got Namor.
Yes. I'll also have some news that I found out about Black Panther 2 too. So I should say as well instead of two.
Also,
So, yes. So the first viewing that we're going to get of Ironheart is going to
yes,
be in Black Panther 2.
that is correct.
Riri Williams,
Yes.
Dominique Thorne as the character, as the title character. We're going to get in Black Panther 2. I'm so excited about this.
Where we're gonna go with that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're gonna leave it there. We teased y'all. Next video or two we'll get into that.
Ooh-wee.
So like and subscribe, comment. Mike, do you have anything you want to add, my brother?
No, the same thing. Like, subscribe. We're going to be on Instagram. We're going to be on Twitter and I believe Facebook.
Yep.
Wherever
All
we
that.
are, follow
You
us.
need to be. Wherever
Follow
we
us
are,
for
you need to
comments.
be.
And for our YouTube videos, make sure you hit not only the subscribe button, but
The
hit the
notification.
notification bell so you'll get alerted whenever we upload new videos. And so you'll be the first one to know when we upload something new.
Yeah, because we about to put this thing in overdrive. All the equipment's here. We're getting a handle on this YouTube thing. So we about to put this thing in overdrive. So y'all please, y'all get on the ground floor right now. Y'all can be one of the few people that go, man, I remember when those guys were just itty bitty channel. You know, we grow this thing to 1 million subs, and then you want to come knocking on the door. We will welcome you. Just know there's a special rare air being one of the first few.
Yeah.
You know, just always just remember that. And we're going to always try to be humble brothers. We're going to always thank you guys for watching our videos. We're going to always say, please be blessed. Even if you're not religious, that's okay. Please be safe. Please be happy. May peace be upon you. Whatever you need, that's what we need.
Yes.
Okay, guys? So thank y'all for spending a little time with us. And like you said, hit that notification bell and you'll know when we drop some more stuff. And they are coming rapidly because we got a lot of content.
Boom, boom, boom.
So thank y'all. To the next one.
Wakanda salute out.